So that's the actual Abbey Road studio. It was What's Love Got to Do with It. That was recorded.
That was recorded here?
That was recorded here.
No way.
You're gonna be living anyway. Why not go for something insanely great?
Europe in the springtime is just phenomenal. So what would you compare it to?
You know, I think it's because the weather's crisp. You know, even if it's a little bit cloudy or a rainy day, there's just something about the flowers blooming in the air. Like, it just feels like everything gets renewed. You know what I mean? Like, to me, every spring around the world is like an opportunity for flowers to blossom, for, you know, the second quarter to begin, for the selling market to really begin if you're in a colder environment. So I don't know. I think it's also too, I like wearing a leather jacket and, you know, walking around and,
yeah.
You know, can't do that in Newport Beach in the summertime at all, or most of the time. Yeah, that's it. It's just, you know, springtime, just the renewed enthusiasm of the second quarter, you know, the sort of, you know, beginning of the selling season, just always gets me fired up.
Cool.
That's the actual Abbey Road studio. It was What's Love Got to Do with It. That was recorded.
That was recorded here?
That was recorded here.
No way.
They, I forget which record company gave her the deal, but they basically said, look, we'll give you a studio for 3 weeks and a killer band and a bunch of unbelievable songwriters, and we're gonna go make a modern pop rock album and turn this, you know, the way she sort of described herself as this old soul singer. She was like 40, you know, I'm this old soul, because you've been doing it for like, you know, 23 years. And they recorded that. She's like, the song is horrible, it's not gonna work, it's not my thing. And that song just went straight to #1. Gotta get that photo, right?
For sure, for sure.
The joke is like, it's easier to find another audience than it is to create another compelling talk. And my mindset is it's easier to create another compelling talk than, you know what I mean? Like, and go back to the same audience and keep that moving forward.
Yeah.
Because you're delivering value, you're not delivering a story.
Yeah. Well, and it's, I mean, and obviously I've got a bunch of stories that that I use, right? That, you know, people that have seen me speak a million times. But like, you know, I've seen Tony Robbins 20 times, and he tells the same stories every time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't feel bad.
Yeah.
I don't check out. I usually am listening for what is the context of the message he's trying to tell us, you know, because, like, you know, myself, you tell a story to get them to get the point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
How would you compare talking in the States to talking out here? In terms of how you deliver, and in terms of like the crowd.
So it's just what's interesting is it's never the audience, it's always the presenter, right? So it's never the audience. The audience is just audiencing along. They're doing what is culturally norm for them. Mm-hmm. So for most audiences in Europe, my experience has been they are more subdued, quiet, relaxed, not as engaged. And I'm not saying every audience, because I've done some conventions in Europe where a larger percentage of the crowd are super fired up, right? So I think it's like maybe context specific, you know, like where are you, what's the event, what's the location, what is the message that's going on throughout the conference back in the US, right? Or in Mexico, or in, you know, Australia, New Zealand, it doesn't matter, right? But I will tell you, there's actually parts of the US where it's hard to get them to open up. Like middle north specifically, you know, like if you're in like Milwaukee, Minnesota, and you know, I'm not saying all of them. This is no vague generalization, but I've done a ton of events in that region where they're just like, they're taking notes, man. They're like really paying attention. They're hardworking. They're smart, but they're just less likely to be like, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
It's just not their thing.
Okay.
You know, you go to the West Coast, you're like, what's up? Everyone's like, ah!
Yo.
You know? And same thing on the East Coast.
Yeah.
You know, Florida and New York, especially like Miami and New York City, like technically are their own worlds.
Yeah.
Right. They've, you know, and I'm not like, you know, all the New Yorkers are like, you know, New York's is very different. I'm like, well, yeah, it is. You know, yes, I agree, but you know, it's all the same.